It is Friday, 25th day of April 2025. Welcome to the Lord Abwoga TV newspaper review. Straight away we start by the Standard, whereby the main headline is Goofing Home and Away. That is reference to President William Samoei Ruto. And you see, these are diplomatic mistakes that President William Samoei Ruto has been making. And it seems he will take some time for him to be in a position to learn. It is believed that for the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga to lose the AU seat to the Djibouti guy, it is because of President William Samoei Ruto's diplomatic mistakes. And as he was in China, he again repeated the very same mistakes. And from here, the Standard reads, after key failed bid for the African Union Commission top job was partly blamed on diplomatic blunders under President Ruto's watch, one would expect a lesson was learned. Yet at a recent forum in Beijing, Ruto appeared to downplay the economic stature of neighbors Uganda and Tanzania. In remarks some have called condescending. Is the president still struggling with the art of diplomacy? That was very unfortunate. And as you can see, Standard has highlighted here, like on neighbors economics, President William Samoei Ruto said, the difference between us and our neighbor is that Kenya is the middle income category, while Tanzania and Uganda and others are in the least developed countries. They expect duty-free. Kenya pays duty.
Let's explain to you why sometimes people find it easy to go to Uganda or Tanzania for purposes of getting goods and services to this country. It is exactly the problem I want to solve by signing the bilateral labor agreement. You know, the difference between us and our neighbors is that Kenya is in the middle income category. Our neighbors, Tanzania, Uganda, and all the other neighbors are in the least developed countries. They are in LCDs, LDCs, and we are in the other. So we are categorized higher than them, and therefore, while they export duty-free, Kenya exports with duty. And that is why you heard me say that is the agreement we want to negotiate. We want to negotiate a preferential trade agreement that will now put Kenya at par with our neighbors.
Then on how states trade with one another, President William Samoei Ruto had to say, even as we celebrate these achievements, we must confront a sobering truth. The post-war multilateral system is broken, dysfunctional, and no other fit for purpose. Again, on global funding institution, this is what President William Samoei Ruto said. The Bretton Woods institution recently commemorated their 80th anniversary. 8 years ago, 2/3 of the world's nations did not exist as sovereign states. The IMF was established to buttress the gold standard fixed exchange rate system, a system that collapsed 50 years ago. That is President Ruto for you. Then on dollar shortage, President William Samoei Ruto had to say, there has been a mechanism where all traders can trade in the local currency, and we leave it to the Afrexim Bank to settle all payments. We do not have to look for dollars.
The IMF was established to buttress the gold standard fixed exchange rate system, a system that collapsed 50 years ago. The World Bank, on the other hand, was established to rebuild Europe, an assignment now very well overtaken by events. At the heart of the Bretton Woods institution is a fundamental issue. These are shareholder institutions. At the time they were formed, the shareholders were also the primary stakeholders and beneficiaries. Both the World Bank and IMF have evolved into development finance institutions, but the ownership and power remains with the wealthy countries that they no longer serve. The interests of the shareholders and stakeholders and beneficiaries are at great variance almost all the time. This anomaly became apparently glaring during the IMF SDR issuance, where 64% of allocations ended up in wealthy countries that did not need liquidity support. The crisis is perhaps the most urgent and existential challenge of our time. Africa, despite contributing the least to global emissions, bear the greatest burden through floods, droughts, displacement, and food insecurity. We have scientific consensus that these extreme weather events are human-induced. But even if it were otherwise, decarbonization of the economy is progress in its own right. Conservation of nature and clean air are desirable ends in and of themselves. But 30 COP conferences later, national interests continue to stand in the way of global collective action, notwithstanding the fact that the atmosphere has no national boundaries. We envision a digital future that is Kenya in location, Africa in identity, and global in impact. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenya and China are not merely trade partners. We are co-architects of a new world order, one that is fair, inclusive, and sustainable. Let us measure our success not in GDP growth or trade volumes, but in how many lives we uplift, how many futures we secure, and how much dignity we restore.
That is President William Samoei Ruto for you. And those are serious diplomatic blunders that a president can commit. You know, President William Samoei Ruto, I think sometimes when he gets onto the microphone, just the way he gets onto the microphone when he is on his normal Kenyan tours on top of the sunroof, he gets overexcited. Now he wants to please those people that are listening to him, not knowing that he is making serious diplomatic blunders. Like the China visit is a very serious, it will bring serious diplomatic questions with the other countries in the world. Now again, President William Ruto made a very, very big mistake. He understands very well that there is this Cold War between United States of America and China. It was a wrong time that President William Samoei Ruto had to visit China, because these big boys are already fighting. They're already fighting on different economic ties. And Kenya going to China at this hour and time, it means that it is one or another aligning with China, forgetting the United States of America has been supporting our economy in different aspects, starting with health, agriculture, and so on and so forth. There, it was a very, very big blunder on timing, on the time that President William Samoei Ruto visited China. This hour and time, it was a very serious blunder. I think President William Samoei Ruto, it is high time he stops making William Samoei Ruto as his main advisor. William Samoei Ruto as the main advisor to William Samoei Ruto is a big diplomatic blunder. It is high time William Samoei Ruto leaves President William Samoei Ruto to work for the people of Kenya and seek professional diplomatic guidance for us to move on a positive context as a nation. Then going on to the Daily Nation, main headline is that Duale paves the way for Shah tycoons to pocket billions. And here the Daily Nation goes ahead and say Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale has gazetted regulations enabling a Safaricom-led consortium to start receiving monthly payments for its Kenya shillings 104 billion investment in a new digital health system, despite an ongoing court case seeking to annul the deal. You see, Aden Duale is among key big boys to President William Samoei Ruto's led administration. And as you can remember, where the main cash cow is in President William Samoei Ruto administration is health. That is why it happened that the big boy Aden Duale, you know Aden Duale is a big boy to this regime, was taken to the health ministry so that he can bulldoze. And you see Aden Duale, when they agree something with William Samoei Ruto, Aden Duale can't blink an eye on making it happen. Now there is a court case for this Shah thing. Again, Aden Duale goes ahead and gazettes this consortium to start receiving the monthly pay from the Shah earnings. That is very wrong. They should have waited for the case process to be done for him to gazette what he did. Now, those are some of the things that former Attorney General J.B. Muturi used to disagree with the president, and he was seen as incompetent to the eyes of President William Samoei Ruto. Because a serious Attorney General is supposed to give legal advice on such that Aden Duale is not supposed to gazette that consortium when a case is still in court. Now we will find ourselves in a situation whereby this consortium will receive money from Shah. Then the court says that was an illegal entity collecting money, collecting public funds. Then just like that, Kenyans and government and Shah will lose money. So Aden Duale should reconsider his gazettement, because it will bring us again to another serious mess. I think we don't have much of the newspaper review. That is up for the day. This was my time. Remember to subscribe at Lord Aboga TV so that you can be getting these timely updates. Press the notification bell so that when you come up with this content, YouTube will automatically notify you. That was my time. Goodbye.